following video is not made for kids. Your discretion is advised. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another Monster Month Halloween Transformers video. Hello to my subscribers, this is the Tiafangi coming to you with what will hopefully be a quick and successful review, and tonight, as part of my celebration, shout out to Beastman Review, as part of his video series in celebration of Halloween of 2022, Monster Month. For the next video, we are going to be taking a look at the most heroic figure we will be taking a look at in this video series, and tonight we are going to be taking a look at the third and final Transformers Legacy Walmart exclusive Beast Wars character of Deluxe Class Nightprowler. He's a straight up repaint of Kingdom Cheetor, who was released last year in 2021. And despite being a straight up repaint of Cheetor, Nightprowler's beast mode is a snow leopard, even though Cheetor is, of course, a cheetah, and the cheetah and the snow leopard have different body types, different shapes to them. They tried to be somewhat close to a snow leopard's actual body type here with Nightprowler's artwork, but unfortunately there's no denying that it's a snow leopard with the body proportions of a cheetah. So here's some artwork of Nightprowler. There's his robot mode head. Same artwork here of him in his robot mode, charging into battle against his enemies. And one thing to note about Nightprowler, this surprised Transformers fans and collectors everywhere, myself included, when he was first revealed, but Nightprowler is not a Maximal. He is, in fact, an Autobot. That's right. Nightprowler is an Autobot who happens to have the same body type as Cheetor. I don't know how well my camera's going to pick it up due to the low quality, but even if you look right there, on the artwork of his robot mode head, yeah, Nightprowler is a fully dedicated Autobot. So because he's an Autobot, Nightprowler, you could argue, is a Transformers Generation 1 character that shares the same body design as a character from Beast Wars. So Nightprowler's commander is Optimus Prime, not Optimus Primal. So yeah, that makes Nightprowler super unique and amazing compared to Cheetor and the other Transformers characters who have actual beasts for their robot mode. So you could make the analogy that Nightprowler is the character who bridges the gap between the Autobots and the Maximals, where he's an Autobot who has the same body design as a Maximal, but he is in fact a fully fledged Autobot. So that's really interesting to note about Nightprowler there. Now, because Nightprowler is the third and final of the 3 Walmart exclusive Legacy Beast Wars exclusive figures, Nightprowler is unfortunately going to be the last Legacy Deluxe class figure that has a plastic window on his box that I will be looking at on my channel. So unless Hasbro and Takara decide to bring plastic window covers back, which with their goal of eliminating plastic from packaging on the boxes that Transformers action figures come with, Nightprowler, along with his other 2 Legacy Walmart exclusive deluxe figures of Beast Wars Sandstorm and Beast Wars Buzzsaw, these 3 are most likely going to be the last deluxe class Transformers figures that have a plastic window on the box, and they probably at this point are going to be the only deluxe class figures in the Legacy line that have plastic windows. So moving along from that, again, there's the artwork of Nightprowler there. On the top of the box, you've got the Legacy logo. Here on the side of the box, you've got the Autobot side of the poster image for the Transformers Legacy line. You've got Optimus Prime looking at planet Earth. You've got Hot Rod. You've got Prime RC, Blaster, Bulkhead, and of course the Legacy logo, and right above it the Authentics Transformers logo. Here on the back of the box, you've got Nightprowler and his robot mode and his beast mode. Again, he is a straight up repaint of Kingdom Cheetor. He even has the same exact head sculpt. But the only difference between Nightprowler and Cheetor is that, unlike Cheetor, who's a Maximal, Nightprowler is in fact an Autobot. And, of course, with his mostly gray, spotted paint job, Nightprowler is supposed to be a snow leopard, and he transforms back and forth from robot mode to beast mode in just 20 steps. So yeah, the fact that Nightprowler here is an Autobot instead of a Maximal, he's the closest any Autobot has come to being a Maximal. You can make that joke about Nightprowler. So yeah, it's pretty amazing that Nightprowler is an Autobot. Alright, now for those of you wondering, Nightprowler is actually based on a cancelled 2-pack that was going to be released released originally exclusively at Walmart. I believe it was either 2002 or 2003 when it was going to be released. It was going to be released as a special commemorative two-pack that was going to celebrate the end of, I believe it was going to be the 2003 during the 5th anniversary of when the original Transformers Beast Wars series ended in 1998. It might have been 2004, or I don't remember, but anyways, Nightprowler was going to be a repaint of the original Beast Wars Cheetor action figure, but that 2-pack was canceled from Walmart release. It was then rumored to have been moved to BotCon before Hasbro decided to cancel the 2-pack entirely, and the other figure that Nightprowler was going to be packaged with was a Predacon character named Predacon Parasite. Parasite technically has been given a figure in the Legacy line, in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. Parasite is the name originally given to the Transformers character that became Skywasp, who was released in the Creatures Collide Buzzworthy Bumblebee 4-pack. So, yeah, if you have the Creatures Collide 4-pack, then the mostly black and gold and purple repaint of Kingdom Waspinator that was named Skywasp on the box, so that figure, along with Nightprowler here, were based on characters that in a canceled Beast Wars 2-pack that never got released. So yeah, this is the first ever official action figure of Nightprowler, but he is based on a canceled action figure that never got the chance to exist. So that's one of the motivations to getting Nightprowler and adding him to your Transformers collection. He's a canceled Transformers Beast Wars character that didn't get a figure until the current year of 2022 in the Legacy line. And from what I read on the Transformers Wikipedia when I got Nightprowler for my birthday back in July, yes, Nightprowler, even his original figure back in the early 2000s before it was canceled, Nightprowler was always intended to be an Autobot. So, yeah, that's really makes him unique in that regard. If you hear any background noises, it's because it was a mildly hot day here, and I have my bedroom window open, and in somewhat appreciation of Halloween, there's a great horned owl hooting outside my window, but I'm hearing a strange noise that, more than any other creature, sounds like a peacock. I don't know if it's a wild one. Wild peacocks, they don't come down here to the coastline where I live. They mostly live up in the mountains, so I'm thinking that it might be a pet that someone has, but I don't know if it. But I thought I heard that it's illegal to have a peacock as a pet in my town, and because of how loud they are. Although it could also be a rooster now that I'm hearing it squawk. And roosters are also illegal to have as pets here due to how loud they are. But anyways, I might close my window in a moment. But yeah, there's Nightprowler in his box. Without further delay, let's get him out and take a close look at him in his robot mode. Alright, so here's Nightprowler out of his box, transferred into his robot mode, and holding his tail weapon, which is an axe and a whip. And yeah, this weapon is not the best one. I can't remember if I said this when I reviewed Cheetor and Shadow Panther, but yeah, I think they could have done better than just having the tail act as a axe whip type weapon. You can hold it in 2 different configurations. This is the official one since there's a 5mm peg below the axe blade. But if you want, you can have it have the figure holding it here at the end, so the axe blade is on the top. But apart from the weapon, pretty much, if you have the Kingdom Cheetor or figure, then with Nightprowler here, you're basically getting the exact same figure, just done in light gray instead of yellow. I believe the spot patterns on the spots on Nightprowler, they're the exact same spot pattern that's on Kingdom Cheetor. Would have preferred if they would have designed some way of having a different spot pattern here. But yeah, Nightprowler, he has the exact same spots that Cheetor does. There's his teeny tiny little Autobot logo on the center of his forehead, which is the only faction logo that the figure has. I can't remember where Cheetor's Maximal logo is. I thought it was on one of his shoulders. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah. For a size comparison, here is Nightprowler with Kingdom Cheetor, and again, exact same figure, just done in light gray instead of yellow. And again, as you can see here, exact same spot patterns. The spots are all the same size, the same shape, and in the exact same spot on both figures, although looking at it now, one thing on my copies of Nightprowler and Cheetor is that here on these shoulders, the spots on Nightprowler, they're a fraction of an inch lower than they are on Cheetor, so even though it's the same sized spot pattern, the spots were put on that spot at a different angle, so that is one part of the section of spots that is different, but the other sections are all the exact same. So for articulation, it's the exact same as Cheetor. You got a ball jointed head, so it can look up and down. You can rotate left and right, but right out of the box, the ball joint's really stiff, so I'm not going to bother with it. The arms have the potential to rotate at the shoulder 360 degrees forwards and backwards, but it's hindered by the fact that it sits on the inside of the upper half of the beast mode legs. Bicep swivel, hinge joint at the elbow, and wrist swivels, which are transformation joints. Waist swivel. If both legs can go forward that far, they can't really go back due to how the shape of the hip is. Swivel joint at the bottom of the thigh. Hinge knees. Feet can go forward and backward due to transformation, and you have ankle rockers as well. And that's pretty much it for articulation. So it is a tad disappointing that Nightprowler is a straight-up repaint of Cheetor, but that's what the original canceled Beast Wars figure of Nightprowler was supposed to be, a straight-up repaint of the original Cheetor action figure. And just to have all three versions of this mold that have been released here also is Kingdom Nightprowler. So unlike the previous figure we looked at of Beast Wars Sandstorm, where he was the only character that wasn't Scorponok on that mold, Nightprowler here, it's comparing him with Cheetor and Shadow Panther. It's the same as Beast Wars Buzzsaw with Waspinator and Sky Wasp, aka Parasite, right, where one of the figures has a different head sculpt, but all three of them have different paint jobs. But unlike Buzzsaw and also Sandstorm, nice thing about Nightprowler is that each of these three figures is a different faction and is part of a different group of Transformers. Cheetor is a Maximal, Nightprowler a Predacon, Shadow Panther a Predacon, and Nightprowler is an Autobot. So that is a nice thing to see here, having all three versions of this mold be a different faction of Transformers figure. And I do have Shadow Panther holding his weapon in the opposite direction that Cheetor and Nightprowler are holding, and it's also in his other hand. But yeah, they're all three of them together, and I gotta say, they are pretty impressive looking group of mold mates here. So yeah, as I said earlier in the review, Nightprowler, he was going to be released in a 2-pack with Sky Wasp, who was originally named Parasite. So if you have the Creatures Collide 4-pack, and you also have Nightprowler here, these are the two figures that were originally going to be sold together. So as far as Nightprowler having a rival, it's Sky Wasp, aka Parasite, and vice versa. The rival for this guy is this one here. So if you want to display these two figures together, you can mimic the canceled 2-pack that their original figures were going to be, that their original figures were intended to be back in the early 2000s. So it is nice to have a action figure of a character that was canceled, and this is the first ever actual figure of the character to get released. So that is the case here with Nightprowler. Technically, there have been, I think, one or two other figures of Sky Wasp under his original name of Parasite. So Nightprowler is the figure that is the more exciting one to have, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, Nightprowler is just Cheetor done in light gray. So so if you have Kingdom Cheetor, there's not much else to go for going on for Nightprowler other than nostalgia for the fact that he's based on a canceled figure, and the fact that he's meant to be a snow leopard. And that was one of the main motivations for me to get Nightprowler, is that even though he's a straight up repaint of Kingdom Cheetor and he has the body proportions of a cheetah, Nightprowler has become the first and only Transformers action figure in my collection that has a snow leopard for a beast mode. So on that note, let's get him transformed into his snow leopard beast mode and wrap up the review. Alright, so here is Nightprowler in his beast mode. It's supposed to be officially a snow leopard, but again, being a straight up repaint of Cheetor, he's a snow leopard that has the body proportions of a cheetah, so you can decide if you want to consider him a snow leopard or an albino cheetah, or semi-albino. Again, in cheetah mode, he does have the gimmick of the opening jaw, so it can look like he's roaring, or if you desire. Same amount of articulation in the legs, but if I mess around with them too much, the legs will flop around, so I try not to mess with it that much. But yeah, one minor gripe that I have with Nightprowler is that his fists are a slightly darker shade of gray plastic. It's alright for his paws, but since his robot mode hands form the base of his beast mode abdomen, it does look a little off like that. So for a size comparison, here he is with Cheetor, and again, they both have the exact same stripe pattern, same spots, same amount of black spots. The spots that are on the tail are even the same, so if you put Nightprowler and Cheetor standing opposite each other, they do look like mirror images, just one is yellow, the other is gray. Okay, so yeah, with the exception of knowing that Nightprowler is an Autobot and Cheetor is a Maximal, you could argue that Nightprowler is Cheetor's long-lost twin brother, if you want to joke about that. And for another size comparison, here's Cheetor next to Nightprowler next to Shadow Panther. I'm getting their names mixed up because Nightprowler and Shadow Panther's names sound similar to my mind, and telling me that their names are almost the same. So here's a reversion of the mold again, even though they're all the exact same mold, because they have different colored fur. They're each a different species of large cat. Cheetor a cheetah, Nightprowler a snow leopard, and Shadow Panther, of course, a jaguar. Just kidding, a panther, but yeah, last I checked, the Black Panther and a black jaguar are intended to be the same, are in fact the same species of big cat. But yeah, there they all are standing next to each other. Nightprowler, from what I can see, he does have the same shade of red eyes that are used on both Cheetor and Shadow Panther. So yeah, if you have Cheetor and Shadow Panther from the Kingdom line, Nightprowler here, he's pretty much the only difference between him and the other versions of this mold is his paint job of being mostly light gray. Okay, so just like his fellow Legacy Beast Wars Walmart exclusive figures of Sandstorm and Buzzsaw, Nightprowler's paint job is the selling point of distinguishing him from the other figures that he's mold mates with. And for one last special size comparison, again, here he is next to his rival from the canceled 2-pack that he was originally supposed to be released in, Kingdom Buzzworthy Bumblebee Creatures Collide Sky Wasp, or Parasite as his original name was. I apologize for not having Parasite transformed into his robot mode when I had Nightprowler in robot mode, but yeah, if you have the Creatures Collide 4-pack and you get Nightprowler as well, then you can have these two figures duking it out with each other in battle, and you can have mimic the 2-pack that their original canceled figures were going to be released in originally. And that's pretty much all there is to say. So again, I am amazed that Nightprowler is in fact an Autobot instead of a Maximal, so that does make him unique compared to the other Beast Wars Transformers characters. So do I recommend getting Nightprowler and adding him to your Transformers collection? I absolutely do. Nightprowler is unique due to the fact that he has a snow leopard for his beast mode, and despite what I've been saying throughout this review of him being a straight-up repaint of Kingdom Cheetor, he does have he does feel like a very solidly built figure. Some of his joints, some of the joints on Cheetor and also Shadow Panther, ones that were tight, they're now a little looser here on Nightprowler, and vice versa, joints that were loose on Cheetor and Shadow Panther, they're now a little tighter here on Nightprowler. So out of all three versions of the mold, Nightprowler is the one whose joints are feel the most sturdily built and have the fewest tolerances. So I do recommend getting Nightprowler if you can. Out of all three of the Walmart exclusive Beast Wars Legacy figures, I do recommend getting Nightprowler first before you get Sandstorm and Buzzsaw. Not only due to the fact that he's an Autobot, but unlike Buzzsaw and Sandstorm, Nightprowler does not share his name with a Generation 1 Transformers character, so aesthetically he is the most unique out of the three Walmart exclusive Beast Wars Legacy Deluxe Class figures. Thank you guys all so much, and once again, and a shout out to Beastman Review and his Monster Month celebration of Halloween. Thank you guys all so much. There's one more review I'm going to do for the Halloween Monster Month Mayhem. I have to work all day tomorrow at my job, so hopefully I'll be able to get it done tomorrow night. But until next time, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for the grand finale of the Monster Month Halloween Transformers reviews. And until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.